Well, hello everyone. I'm Laurie. This is the From the Heart Masterclass. I'm really excited to be the first host on this. We have Maud come in from the Laughing Hour. So I'm Laurie. I'm a photo artist with Inner Spirit Photography. I'm a speaker. I spoke on national stages all over the world, mostly to photographers, but also to women's groups and a variety of things, some medical groups and whatnot. I've written 5, 6 books. Mostly photography. I got a poetry book in the mix there as well. And I'm also a podcaster. It's called fascinatingwomen.ca. We have, I think, 11 or 12 episodes up there. So if you want to peek in and see that, that would be really fantastic. And this is my company, Inner Spirit Photography. We embrace, empower, and let women be glorious. And it's a lot of fun. The sessions are designed to transform women so they can embrace their fears. When you step out from doing, you can do lingerie to nudes. That's a very big, bold step to make. It's not required, but it's a lot of fun. And we've met for about 40 years now. And this is Maud. Maud is amazing. I met her about a year ago, I think. And I've never known someone to make a livelihood out of laughter and humor. And she does it, and she is as live as she looks in her intro piece there, a little photograph. She's a phenomenally intriguing woman that's got quite a story she's going to share with you today. And I'm just going to slide out of that, stop my share, and we'll bring her on. And I'm back. So now I'll let you kind of pop on in. This is Maud, and she is from the
Hello.
There you go. And take her away, Maud.
Okay, well, hello everyone. It's true. I'm on the same page as you. I'm so used to seeing the people I'm talking to. Even if it's a Zoom call, you actually see the little, pictures and you can interact that way. But this is interesting. I get to see your face the whole time, Mark. And so this is good. So hi everyone. I am with the Laughing Hour, and I'll get into what that is in a little second. Just a little background information about myself. If you don't hear it, I have a beautiful French accent. I come from the east coast of Canada, a very small town, 1,200 people, super cute. I've been living out west for about 5 years now, in Edmonton for 3. And I just am very passionate about bringing joy in a lot of places. What's very important to note here is that that does not mean that I'm always happy. I just want to get that straight. I like to cry sometimes, and I get angry also. But I'm very passionate about spreading more information about laughter and how laughter can really help us go through a lot of things socially, mentally, and how it can help us physically. And so I started the Laughing Hour. What this whole Laughing Hour is basically it's mostly in corporate settings, but in very different environments, but mostly corporate settings. I go there and I do some laughter exercises. I don't dress up like a clown, and I don't tell any jokes. I would love to think that I'm a comedian, but my brothers all told me that I was not funny. So that route ended a long time ago. But usually what basically I use to get people laughing is something called laughter yoga. And it's very different from your traditional yoga. And this is usually, if I have an audience, I ask people to raise their hands who knows what yoga is. But I'm just going to assume most of you know what yoga is. If you've ever participated in a traditional yoga session, you can maybe recall that the instructor is going to tell you when to breathe in and when to breathe out. So people are going to be doing a whole bunch of different positions, beginner, expert positions, whatnot. But at the base of it, yoga is really a breath practice, because the instructor is going to tell you when to breathe in and when to breathe out. Laughter yoga, different from the traditional yoga, uses laughter as the breath practice. So when you think about it, when you're laughing, really what you're doing is you are breathing. You're really exhaling everything that was in your lungs and breathing in a lot of new oxygen. So if I'm laughing right now, basically what I just did is I just took all of the CO2 out of my lungs, and then I'm going to breathe in and then laugh again. So what the laughter yoga looks like really is more of a laughter class, more than the traditional yoga that you see with a lot of positions. And how did laughter yoga start? Well, basically it started by a doctor in about 25 years ago in India, and he saw that there were a lot of benefits to laughter, and I'll get into more of that in a little while. But he just saw that laughter is really the best medicine, right? We keep on saying, oh, laughter is the best medicine, but why? So I'll get back to that soon. But he thought, there's a whole bunch of clubs out there. There's knitting clubs, there's soccer clubs, there's business clubs, whatnot. And so he thought, I'm going to start a laughter club. And that's what he did. He invited a whole bunch of people just to start laughing, and big success. 5 people showed up. There was him, his wife, and basically 3 of his friends that he convinced and pulled along. and so what they did, this is in India, they were in a park and they started telling each other jokes. This is originally how it started. It doesn't work like that anymore, but they started telling each other jokes and laughing, and more jokes and laughing. And laughter is, if you hear me laugh, what is going to happen probably, right? If I laugh, Mark, you're probably going to start laughing, and then someone else is going to start laughing, because laughter is contagious. And so this group of individuals that were meeting in the park, the 5 original people, the group just got bigger and bigger and bigger every single time they had this laughter club going. Eventually, what happened, however, is that jokes were being repeated a second time and then a third time. And so the whole buzz around this laughter club was slowly dying, because, it was getting like, I've heard this joke before. Oh, I don't find that joke funny. And so what this doctor did, Dr. Madan Kateria, if ever you want to check him out, he went back to his books, and this is really the cool part. What he realized is that our brains, we are very evolved individuals, but our brain hasn't tagged along that well for laughter. Meaning, if I laugh for real, I'm going to get all of that happiness cocktail. So endorphins, serotonin, I'm going to feel really good. But if I fake laugh, so if I force myself to laugh, the brain can't tell the difference. And so all of that happiness cocktail still happens. So if I go like this, I just faked myself laughing, which kind of turned into a real laugh at one point. But since I forced it, my brain just went, oh, Maude thinks something's really awesome. I have to prepare that happiness cocktail, secrete endorphins, secrete serotonin, which makes me feel good. And since this forced laughter and laughter yoga is done in a group setting, what happens, as I said, is laughter is contagious. So if I force myself to laugh a little bit, a person next to me is going to laugh a little bit, which is going to make the next person laugh more, which is going to make me laugh for real. And so it just becomes a wave of, I'm faking it, I'm laughing for real. I'm faking it, I'm laughing for real. And let me tell you, the first time I tried it, it was really weird. I didn't know what was happening. I thought that I was in a, just a sect or like a cult or something. I thought, why are these people laughing for no reason? What's going on? But what happened eventually is I took my serious mask and my ego and I put it on the side, and I just started diving in each laughter activity more and more, and not thinking about how silly I looked. And by the end of the session, I felt like $1 million. My cheeks had been working out. My abs had worked out. I felt so good. And back then I was living in Montreal, and I was just, you know, I left the studio where they did the laughter yoga, and I felt like being friends with everyone. I was part of the crew. I was beaming, and I had to go back. And so I was able to convince my friends to come back that time with me. We just, from there, I just knew that one day I was going to be spreading that practice of laughter yoga. So that gives you a little idea of what laughter yoga is. But yeah, so I'm just looking at all the things, because there's a lot of things that I'd like to cover with you about this whole laughter. So we talked about the fact that there are some benefits to laughter, and I like to break it down into 3 sections. But basically, there's a lot more. There's physical, there's mental, and there's social benefits. And so, you have a question, Mark?
Well, I want to let people know that on the bottom of your screen, there's a Q&A and a chat. So if you want to chat amongst yourself, or if you want to send in if you have a question to ask, I'm monitoring that. So if you have a question for her as she goes along, I will relay it to her. So I'll let everyone know that they can interact with you in a piecemeal kind of fashion. So I'll turn it back to you again, but I want to let the audience know that they can communicate with us and amongst themselves as well. You're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, I just saw that too. So I opened the little chat, but if I don't see it pop in, then yes, please let me know.
It's my job. I'll look after it for you.
Okay. So yeah, there's a lot of benefits to laughter. And like I said, I like to break it down in 3 sections: the physical, the mental, and the social. And so if we start with physical benefits to laughter, well, like I said at the beginning, when we laugh, really what we're doing is we're breathing. We're getting all of that CO2 out, and we're taking new oxygen. And so when we laugh, there's about 3 to 5 times more oxygen that enter our body. And there are a lot of health benefits to having a body full of oxygen. You just feel more awake, you feel more empowered when you're all oxygenated, and it's really good also for the immune system. When we laugh, usually we get a little warmer, right? We're laughing, we're like, woo! It gets hot, especially if you're doing a full hour of laughter yoga with me, then you're taking your sweater off for sure. It's quite the workout. But yeah, so there's it boosts the blood circulation in your body, which is really good. So that's why once in a while I'm called to do some laughter sessions in senior homes, because their blood circulation is not the best. And I know some other individuals do it also in hospitals, because in hospitals you're often laying down, right? And so really good for the immune system, or for the blood circulation, I mean. So basically what's happening is you have all of this beautiful blood circulating everywhere in your body, and then this oxygen being transported everywhere to benefit you physically. Also, what happens when we're laughing, I talked a little bit about that happiness cocktail with the endorphins and the serotonin, which is really good. And when you're doing a good belly laugh, you are really massaging your internal organs. So your intestines have a little massage, which is really good for digestion, really. And just, you know, if you feel a little stuck down there, maybe just a little bit of laughter to shake things up. Now that everyone has a lot of toilet paper everywhere, we're all good. So just a little bit of laughter. Mentally, when we're laughing also, so if I switch to the other part, mentally, we are helped to get more relaxed when we laugh, right? It feels like there's some weight that's been pulled off our shoulder. An example of this is, let's say you go on a trip, and then there's one bad thing that happens after another bad thing, and it just seems like it's, you know, the worst trip ever, and you come back home and you tell your family about it. And when you're telling your family or your friends about this adventure that happened, you're laughing about it. So basically, laughter is a way for you to tell your story in a way that is going to peel some layers of stress off. It's like, oh, you can't believe what happened to me in Costa Rica. So I missed my plane, and then and then you laugh about it, and it just helps you take some of that stress from all of the moments that might have happened to you. And so laughter is really good that way, and it also helps boost your self-esteem. Obviously, you're laughing, and it helps you just open up your heart. Socially, there's some really awesome studies. One of them, my favorite one, is laughter with babies. What they looked at is basically how laughter can help us connect with people. So they looked at a group of babies and realized that they start laughing at about 4 to 5 months of age. This is, everywhere. Babies start laughing at about that age. And so then they looked at another group of babies, and those were babies that were born both deaf and blind. So they never heard anyone laugh. They never saw anyone laugh. And what they realized is that those babies also started laughing at about 4 or 5 months of age. So they were not taught to laugh. It just goes to show that laughter is something that is eternal, and that we use to help us connect with their caregivers. And eventually the babies that are deaf and blind, they get an extinction process. So they eventually stop laughing because it's not a behavior that is reinforced. But it still goes to show that laughter is so important to help us connect with those around us. An example might be you're in a waiting room, you have a stranger next to you, something happens, you both look at each other and you start laughing. The chances that you both start talking at that point just increased by a lot because you shared a mutual laughter, and it just connects you in that way. So socially, laughter is very important too. I don't know if you have any questions at this point. I feel like I'm just blah, blah, blahing.
You're doing well.
Okay.
Yeah, so if anybody's got a question, just pop in. There's a Q&A at the bottom, and the panelist, or the two all panelists at the other side there, and they'll be kind of good to go.
Okay. Thank you. I see Joanne. But yeah, so those are a lot of the technical laughter benefits. Obviously, laughter has helped me in some ways, like you saw, trauma to ha, which was something very unexpected. Let's just say, I started my business, just to give you a little background information, in 2018. The Laughing Hour. And at the beginning, I felt like I had this special star following me because within a few months, I had CTV reach out to me, CBC, City TV News. And basically every single time I had that call, I was like, where are you coming from? And I really felt that nothing was ever going to go wrong with my business. I was blessed with this great opportunity, and I was just on cloud nine. But that's not what happened. Basically, after a couple of months of everything seeming that it was going well and rock and roll and whatnot, I was hit with a lot of childhood trauma that just kept creeping back in my head, and I kept pushing it down because that's basically what I had done all my life. And eventually my boyfriend, I was talking with him about this, and he said, I think you need to go see someone, because I was just, it just got too much for me. And for him, let's be honest, it got too much for him too, because I was a little irritable. But yes, so I think basically what happened is, after a couple of months of just laughing with a whole bunch of people, it's like if my brain finally said, Maude seems like she's in a stable situation. She seems like she's ready. I think she's ready to get this little black box that's inside of her. And I picture it as a black box, because for a long time I knew I had this box, and consciously I didn't know what was in there, but unconsciously I did know. And I was reminded that I went through child abuse when I was 6 years old. And so it got, let's just say, interesting, because here I was going on stages in front of, sometimes I think the most I did was 250 people, talking about laughter and how laughter is so good and laughter is going to bring you so many benefits and blah, blah, blah. And here I was going back at night or evenings at home and just crying so much and just not wanting people to come in my home, just feeling I had to be alone. And so I felt so inauthentic, and I don't like that. I don't like feeling like I'm, not being honest about things. But I'm not the one who's going to go and shout out in front of everyone that I'm not, doing good right now. Like, I have to find the answer. And so basically I ended up going to see therapists. And during my therapy sessions, I had started this business. And so I kept on getting calls to do some speaking, some keynote speeches, or doing some corporate laughter sessions, or going in schools even and doing some laughter there. And in the mornings, I would just want to stay in bed. Like, if I woke up one morning and I knew I had to go facilitate this laughing session, I didn't want to. I felt like I wanted to be home. I wanted to stay in my PJs. I wanted to stay in bed. And so usually what I did is I would cry. So I would cry, I would dance, and then I had my motivational speech that I would repeat to myself all morning, basically just prepping my mindset before I would go laugh. Because somehow I didn't feel like laughing. Like, if you're going through a trauma like I did, if you're being reminded of your sexual abuse, being asked to start laughing out of the blue is not an easy thing to do. And so that's why I would talk to myself and do my motivational speech, which is something like, "Good morning, rise and shine, thank you." And then you can say, "Life, God, universe, for gifting me today to continue radiating love and happiness everywhere I go. I feel so peaceful inside. I am so grateful right now. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all the magical opportunities that show up in my life at the perfect timing." And then I would just go on with my gratitude list. And so anyways, that was what I would do before I would go to my laughing sessions. And then in the car, I would repeat that speech to myself. And then I would get on stage and then just act normal and just go through my laughing sessions. And as much as that same morning, I did not want to go on stage, or I did not want to go facilitate the laughing session, by the end of each session, every single time, I felt so good. I felt, I felt like I had such weight that was taken off my shoulders. I felt like I was myself again. I felt more productive. I just felt like I was me before remembering my trauma, or it just felt so good to feel light. And my way back home, when I was in the car coming back home, I could feel like I could put some music on, and every single time I felt like I could forgive a little more the person that had abused me. I mean, that doesn't justify his actions at all, but I felt like I was more at peace every single time. And that was very unexpected to me, just because, like I said, I didn't want to go laugh, and then I was forced to laugh, but then it felt so good that I was able to get a taste of my own medicine through laughter. And the clients that were hiring me had no clue they were actually paying for my own therapy, because that's basically what it was.
That worked so well.
It did. And I think that life is interesting that way, that my brain was like, "Oh, you are doing some laughing therapy. I think this is a good timing for you to, recover this little black box that you've been hiding." And I don't want to pretend that laughter is going to be the best thing out there to help you through everything and anything and at all times. Because I mean, I did a whole bunch of other things to help me go through this healing. I had my therapist, which I thank so much. Like, yeah, she was great. I did a lot of I believe in meditation benefits, and I had my daily gift checklist that you can read a little more about in my ebook that we have later on. And so I had a lot of other practices, but basically I think what I want to mention, or what I want to tell you, is that laughter is a tool that you can add to your list, or that you can add to your toolbox, because I think we don't use laughter to its full potential. If I ask people around me, why do you laugh? It's like, oh, I laugh when there is a funny joke, or I laugh if someone, you know, falls down, or unless like it's someone you don't want to fall down. But so basically we don't use laughter, or we don't think of laughter as the tool that we have to help us go through so many different things. And self-isolation is one of them for sure. I mean, I don't know for you guys, but my social media feed has been pretty active with people going crazy, staying home. And so I think it's important to just get the message out there that laughter is this free tool that we were gifted, that is, remember, an innate behavior that we have, that even babies have, to help us connect, or help us release stress, help us feel better, get the endorphin, serotonin we need in our body. And we need to start using that a little more. I mean, every day we're going to be faced, well, not every day, but most days we're going to be faced with, you know, some small, medium, big challenges. And it's important to know, okay, well, what can help me go through this challenge? Maybe talking with a friend, maybe writing in my journal, maybe dancing, maybe sports, maybe, I don't know what. But in that list, there should be maybe laughter can help me right now. And it's, if you think about it, when we're sick, if we're physically sick, if I had a headache right now, I would go and probably, you know, take a Tylenol or an Advil to make me feel better. And with laughter, it should be the same thing. It's like, internally right now, I don't feel good. So maybe I should laugh to make me feel better, and not wait till we feel better to start laughing. Just a little bit like I did with my healing. And like I said, in the mornings before doing my laughter sessions, I wanted nothing to do with laughter sometimes. And here's, you know, this is what I do for a living. And I'm telling you, I didn't want to do it some mornings. But by the end of each session, I was so happy that I did it, that I truly believe in the benefits right now. And so we have to think about it like a little pill, right? I don't feel good right now. I'll take my laughter pill and then we can go on with our day. It's not going to fix everything magically. This is not, you know, rainbows and unicorn pill or whatnot. But it's still a tool that we have, and that I invite all of you guys to really try out if you have, if you're willing to go down that route. Have you ever tried laughter yoga, Mark?
No, I've never actually heard of it. So it's a whole type of thing. I do laugh easily, and I find that also breaks ice. When I'm doing my photography, I'm trying to relax people. I tell stories, and I find all sorts of stuff to laugh at, and that seems to lighten the whole air. So it works out really good.
Yeah, definitely.
So you're suggesting that people should, it's like self-trigger, like you're sitting up in the morning thinking, oh, it's gonna be a long day. I think I'll just laugh for a few minutes.
Yeah.
And is that what you're sort of suggesting should be done?
Yeah, so basically I can show you, since we see each other, it's easier because I don't see the other participants. So I don't know like how, I guess you can still follow along, but I can facilitate some laughing exercises that I do with the participants.
Okay. So what we'll do is we'll have you do that, and then we can have them check in on the chat box to see how they feel after they do their own.
Oh, cool.
Okay. So we can
That's a
split
good
their actions
idea.
aside, yeah.
Okay, well, so there's two reasons it's called laughter yoga. Like, why is it yoga, if there's no traditional yoga. I talked a little bit at the beginning that there was one of the reasons is because it's a breath practice. Yoga is a breath practice, and laughter is a breath practice. So that's one of the reasons why it's called laughter yoga. The second reason is these laughing activities that we're about to do are also paired with deep breathing exercises. Just because if I spend a whole hour telling people to laugh, they are gonna feel dizzy at one point, or out of breath, or like, you know, we need to reground ourselves. And so there's a couple of exercises that are a little more mellow, that we do a little more breathing through, and that we can start with for sure. So before I start, usually how this works is we have everyone in a circle, and I'm just gonna place myself here. We have everyone in a circle, and we have a little cue. So basically, laughter yoga is in, I think it's 108 countries around the world. This is global. It's not something I invented, or that doctor. It's not just me and the doctor doing this. there's a group of us doing this around the world. And so there's a chant that's being done in every single laughter group that you will ever try. And I'm going to show you this. And basically this chant is the indication that a laughter exercise is done and that we're going to move on to the next one. Because remember, usually I do this in settings that can go up to a couple of hundreds of people. I mean, I've done some in small groups, medium groups, and large groups. So in order for everyone to know that a laughing activity is done, is we have some clapping. So I'll invite every one of you, and you too, Mark, to put your hands together. And when we clap, we want our hands to be parallel, because so nothing like this. We want our hands parallel because really cool fact is that our hands have acupressure points. And when we activate those acupressure points, it sends a feel-good message to our brain that reinforces the state of well-being. So that's why when you're really happy about something, if you go to a show, what do? Oh, that was great! You're clapping, you're reinforcing the fact that that was great, I feel awesome, and your brain is secreting that happiness cocktail. And so we're gonna have our hands together, and we're gonna add a little rhythm to it. See who has the groove.
So what we want to do is we want everyone, our guests, to participants there. So follow along with this, and then when we're done, pop in the chat box and tell us how it feels.
Yeah. So this is the little chant that we would do between the laughing activities.
Okay.
So it goes like this. We go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and then we would go woo. It gets crazy in there.
It feels good.
Yeah, I remember. I thought it was really weird. Remember that, and then I do this for a living. And there's a little chant to this.
Okay.
Once again, it's the same chant everywhere in the world. It goes ho ho ha ha ha, ho ho ha ha ha, ho ho ha ha ha, and then woo. Okay, so that's the chant that we have between all activities. But let's start with a laughing exercise.
Okay.
I'm just gonna back up, and I'm gonna ask you to put your arms out like this. Like they can be lower.
Okay. Okay.
And what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring them up like this, and we're gonna bring them back down. And when we bring them up, we're gonna breathe in. And when we let them go down, we're gonna giggle softly.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And then we breathe in. And we giggle. This can feel weird, but it feels good. Last time.
Okay.
And giggle. And then since we're done, we go ho, ho, ha, 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 ho, ho, ha, 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 woo! So usually that would be a small, easy laughing activity. Another one that you can do, or that I like having people do, is the happiness or the laughter cocktail. And so we're going to pretend that we have two glasses in our hands, and you can fill those glasses with whatever you want. No one's here to judge. And since this is a cocktail, we're going to be mixing on each side. So we're going to pour the contents on one side, and we're going to go, oh, and then we're going to go, oh, and then we're going to chug it. And since this is a laughter session, we're going to laugh after chugging it. So get your glasses out.
Okay.
And then we're going to pour, oh, oh. We're gonna take another shot, and this time when you're laughing, you can start slapping your leg. Like if you're, when you're laughing, sometimes you slap your leg like this or point a little bit, because the more you put into it, the more you fake it, the more your brain thinks you're having a blast, and the more you get the effects. And so we're gonna get our glasses out.
Okay, glasses out. We're
gonna pour on one side. Oh, oh, oh.
Really hope you guys do this back home.
Yeah, it's not just me anymore.
I'd like to think it's a crowd out there who's doing this.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully. So those are two examples of some laughing activities.
I'm feeling warmer. I can really feel that.
Yeah, exactly. So like I said at the beginning, one of the benefits is the fact that your blood is circulating everywhere. There's some of the laughing activities that you can do to help you sleep. One of them is the silent laughter. And basically what it looks like is something like this.
Okay. So you don't wake up the person beside you.
Exactly. Okay. and what really happens is you're oxygenating your brain, and you're helping yourself forget that mental checklist that you might have that's keeping you awake. So just being in your bed and going like this, you're just relaxing your body, getting that oxygen in, and helping you fall asleep. But yeah, definitely what we just did right now in a big group setting gets so loud and rowdy, but in a very good way, actually. And it's just so contagious that by the end of it, you just want more. And then that's how I got hooked with the whole laughing activities. I'm just going to take some water here. If you have water at home, go ahead.
B just wrote, she said, it's a lot of fun and it's a great way to not take yourself too seriously. I found myself just having fun and laughing at myself for real. Especially if you do it by yourself, there's nobody there. You kind of go, well, this is silly. And I'm not being silly.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what? Me and my boyfriend, some mornings we wake up and we do some laughing activities together. Now more than before, because he wakes up around 4:30. I like to stay in bed at that time, 4:35 a.m. But anyways, but when he was working at a different time, we would get up in the morning and we would think at situations that happened the day before, 2 days before, that got on our nerves, right. And we would react the situation. I mean, not mind the whole thing, but just a part of it, and start laughing about it. So an example of that is there's one time he locked himself out of the Jeep or the car. Right. And he called me and he told me all the words that you don't want to hear, like all the swear words, because he was really angry, and he was about an hour from home. And so basically the day after, what we did after he was able to get home, we tried to get into the car and realized we had forgotten the keys, and we laughed about it. So it didn't change the situation in the way that the day before he was really pissed, and laughing about it didn't get him home. But actually what happened is it helped release some of that tension, some of those layers that had peeled on from the whole situation. So he was able to, view the situation in a different way. So definitely it helps take ourselves not too seriously. And I have one person who messaged me after I did a laughing session with them. And she said that she almost got in a car accident right after the laughing session. And not her fault. It was really snowy and someone probably didn't have their winter tires, or I don't know, and almost hit her car. And she said this, she told me that usually she has big car rage, like yelling and whatnot. But what happened instead is she started laughing uncontrollably. She said she couldn't stop laughing. And I was so amazed by that. I said, well, there's a good way to release the stress without you going like, oh, you beep, 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 and whatnot. And so, so yeah, it's a really good tool to have in our toolbox.
So if you're expecting, when we're expecting moms, does this have effect on the child that's being formed? Do they?
Yes, I'm expecting.
You are expecting, that's right. So laughing, does there studies done on that? Does that affect the child as they're evolving?
Actually, that's a really good question. I don't know about that, and I'm gonna look into it. I'd like to think that yes, because the baby she can hear me speak, and she can hear me laugh for sure. There are some precautions to take, however, with laughter yoga. So if you are expecting like me, there's just a different way that individuals should be laughing, just so that it doesn't provoke you when you don't need it or too early, because it is a lot of the abdominal muscles,
right? And
so there is some cautious to take around that. But I mean, I don't think it would do much harm if I'm laughing. She gets to benefit from the endorphins and serotonin also, I'm pretty sure.
But so cautionary tools, it could be used for enhanced childbirth.
Exactly. I mean, laughter yoga is being used in so many different ways around the world. I said that I do it more in corporate settings. I've done some schools, some senior homes, but really there's some individuals doing some awesome things with laughter yoga. One of them is in Calgary. She is full-time in the hospital there. And she brings laughter in the hospital there, because a little bit like Patch Adams, right? When you're laughing, you're not thinking about your aches and pains. And really what happens is your brain also secretes natural painkillers, which helps you temporarily relieve your pain. I mean, it's not going to fix your knee that's broken, but it's going to make you forget about it a little bit and use less morphine. There's some individuals using laughter yoga in prisons, which is on the list of things that I'd like to try at one point for sure, because these individuals really need to laugh also, right? Yeah. And yeah, I've had one other person that I know does it in cancer camps for children, so bringing laughter to them. There's so many places you can bring laughter, because it's something that connects everyone. Everyone needs to laugh, right?
It must reduce your inhibitions. The more you laugh, the more relaxed you would become. I'm just guessing that you get over the fact you're feeling silly and just get the fact that you're enjoying what you're doing. Is that a fair thing?
Yeah, it's laughter is a really good practice of letting go, because really when you're laughing you're letting go of that breath, right? You're letting go, and this practice internalizes in you letting go of a lot of little things that might happen. Like I said at the beginning, I still get angry. I still get mad. I still cry. I love crying. I believe in the benefits of crying. I really do. But when something happens, I feel that I can get over it more quickly than I did before I started before I got certified in laughter yoga and before I knew the practice. I'm an optimistic person at the base, but it definitely helped me, just start letting go of some things that I was holding on to.
When we talked earlier, you said there's a way to change your laugh, change how you laugh. How do you do that? How do you change? Because some people aren't happy with their laugh. So how can they change their laugh or refine it?
Oh, not change the laugh. It's more, there's different types of laughing activities that we use to help us, get into that state of I'm forcing it, and now I'm laughing for real. So using various vowels when you're laughing, because I think that at the beginning when people do all of the laughing activities, they tend to go with the so basically that's using the A vowel, right? But if you play around when you try this at home, the whole laughing activities, if you play around with different vowels, so if you go I find that when I'm doing the activities, if at one point I'm like, oh, I'm tired of this is too much ha-has, if I switch it up and use a different vowel, somehow, I don't have an answer for this, but somehow I find that it goes and grabs a little piece of laughter that was hidden and just gets that laughter out, and it gets me laughing for real again. So playing with different vowels like that really helps, bring out more laughter, I guess.
What vowels do you find are the best?
Which one?
Which vowels do you find the best?
You know what? That's very interesting that you asked that question, because for some reason, the you gets me every time, which is not a way. I don't laugh. Who laughs like that except that? Yeah,
Santa Claus does. Who close to it?
I feel no one laughs like that, but for some reason, when I do the different laughing vowels with a group of people, the one with the you gets me every single time. So I really like that one. And the silent laughter in a group setting is really awesome too, because I feel like not only are you tricking your brain, but you're actually tricking yourself to like, am I laughing for real? Because you don't hear yourself, so you don't know if it's fake or not. And it triggers, I think it's the favorite laughing activity of a lot of the people that I've done these sessions for sure. Yeah.
Be the back of an elevator and you're quietly laughing and people turn, you laughing at me? You laughing at me?
Yeah. I mean, there's that video in the metro, right? Of this individual that was laughing. And so, yeah, throughout the years that I've done that, well, since 2018, I've had some really interesting testimonials, one of which I shared about the almost car accident. Okay. Another individual that came to me, I mean, you'd never know who is in your group. And what happened during that session is my boyfriend had met this guy in a coffee shop, and they started talking. I don't even know why they started talking, but at one point he said, hey, you know what? My girlfriend has this laughing session if you want to come. This was when I first started. So maybe it was just because he wanted more people to come to my sessions, or he was my biggest fan. And so he invited this individual that I didn't know, and he didn't know. So the guy ended up coming to this session, and I think we were a group of about 20 that day, and I'm leading all of the activities and we're having a fun time, or so I think so. Right. And by the end of it, the guy came to me and he said, I'd like to talk to you. And he pulled me on the side and he got really serious. And he said, you know, when I met your boyfriend earlier, I told him I was going to come, but my intentions really were not to come. And I said, oh, well, thank you for joining us then. And he said, yeah, well, 2 weeks ago, my best friend committed suicide. And that's been really hard for me. I've been in a really dark place and I did not want to come. Like I don't feel like being social. And he went back home after meeting my boyfriend, and he said, you know what, I don't have anything else to do. So I convinced myself, I ended up coming. And I thought this was weird at the beginning, because I'm a very introverted person, but this was his first time laughing after 2 weeks in a dark place. And I mean, I started tearing up, and I said, wow, thank you so much for sharing that with me. I know what it's like to, go through the loss of someone. I have 2 brothers myself that have passed away. And so I know what losing someone very close to you feels like. And to hear that my the laughing session had helped them, at least for that hour, to feel a little better, really you know, motivated me to continue on with the laughing hour, especially because this was when I first started in the first couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's such a beautiful practice to share with people. And like I said, you never know who's in the room, what are they going through that day, and what they might hear. So yeah.
That's good. The vowels are interesting. I use, rather than tell people to say smoky cheese or something, I have them do the vowels like hi, hello, and it shapes their mouth. I learned that from Cloris Leachman, who's a craze lady. If you've ever seen her in movies that she
I
played.
haven't.
Well, she's an older movie star. She's still around though. She's kind of like Betty White kind of character, but she just plays herself. She's an insane lady. And so we spent a whole hour of photo shoot, and she said, wait. And she turns away and she comes back, hi. Wait. Hello. I got that for an hour. It was just the most insane place, the same thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, vowels are great like that. But yeah, if ever anyone has any questions or
Getting close to the end, is there any questions out there?
Mm-hmm. Just looking at the list of things that I wanted to share, and I think most of it's
all covered off.
Yeah. And I see the time going. So yeah, if ever you have any questions, or I know that I gave you my contact information if ever they want to connect.
Yep. I'll bring some of that stuff up right now. Is there any questions out there? We've got this nice quiet crowd. I'll just pop in my screen here and share my screen. I'll share this screen here. Share.
I mean, like while we're waiting, there's because I'm in the Edmonton area. I travel everywhere in Alberta, but really, if you're out of Alberta, I highly encourage you to look up Laughter Yoga Club wherever you are, because like I said, there's clubs in 108 countries around the world. So if ever you're stuck in a country when borders are open again and you feel like laughing, look up Laughter Yoga. You'll probably find a group of awesome, happy people.
There'll be.
But yeah, just go and try it and step out of your comfort zone. It does require some stepping out of your comfort zone for sure, but it feels so good afterwards. And
the more you do it, the more you relaxed are about doing it. It's like sort of public speaking. The more you get in front of a bunch of people, suddenly this is a fairly common thing to do.
For sure.
So I've got back to my screens here. So one of the things that still learning my technology here, is this is all her contact information, thelaughinghour.com, on Facebook, The Laughing Hour, on Instagram, Maud Bombardier. How do you pronounce that?
Oh yeah, it's Maud Bombardier. It's very French.
Very French. Yeah, I did not enough. I've French Canadian and English and I haven't quite got the angle for the French thing. Yeah. And then there's a LinkedIn piece down there as well. And as a gift for joining us today, she has an ebook that we'll be sending to everyone. Just make sure if you don't see it coming out, then send me an email saying you messed up, Mark. Send us the book. I think we captured all your email addresses, so we'll send out her book, which is really kind of cool. And then we've got coming up next tomorrow. I have B Baird coming in, and she's noticeable in the crowd. When I first met B, she was it was at a restaurant setting with just a bunch of loose people started chatting, and she was a standout dresser. Like her clothing defined her personality, and that's one of the things she's going to be sharing is how to pick clothes, how to project your personality, kind of how to love your second skin, and what kind of power that gives you. I'm looking forward to that. So we kind of meet, and then this is just a bit about her there. So we've got her phone numbers and stuff. We're looking forward to her at 2 o'clock. So you want to make sure you kind of pop in tomorrow. And I think that's going to kind of wrap it up. I'll just pop back up. That's my little symbol there. The back. I'm going to change back to stop sharing. And just checking to see if there's any questions. And it's got, thank you. I got some questions here. Thank you. Is the Facebook a page or a group?
Yeah, it's a page. It's a Facebook page. So for a little while, I took you can go and you'll see that for a while there's some French videos, because I was doing a French radio capsule, a happiness radio capsule on a French network or radio network here in Edmonton. So if you see some French content, that's what it is.
Okay.
Yes.
Joanne says there's several. I'm just going to pop back to my screen again here.
There's several the laughing hour?
She said there's several, so I'll just pop it here so you can see it. So Facebook, just the laughing hour. I'll see if I can.
Yeah, it has that little yellow logo that is at the top.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what you're looking for. I'll just pop back to my stop share.
Yes, and on that Facebook page, there's a video that we filmed last summer that you get to see what a corporate session kind of looks like. We had a lot of fun doing it. Yeah.
Joanne just said that she's found it. There's several, but she found the one she's looking for. So that's good.
Okay. Perfect. Well, yeah, it was really awesome talking to you, Mark, and I'm honored that I was the first one to kick off your series.
I thought you were perfect because if I screwed up, you just laugh it off and be okay.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Number of times. It's about being perfectly imperfect. That's
really
me.
Good at that. I am really good at that. Perfectly imperfect. I like that. I like that. If you guests would like to pop in and just share with Maud how you enjoyed the session, that'd be great. She would enjoy that. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is also fun for me too. I have to share because I usually work from home, so this whole self-confinement is not too different, but sometimes I switch it up and I go in a coffee place so I get to see people during the day. And so it's nice to, maybe I didn't see all the faces, but it was nice to interact with another human being and not just my computer today. So I appreciate that.
These are great. We put on a big screen yesterday, and so it was so funny though, because I'm a lighting guy. I like this guy to look good. And so a friend last night was, they're video people, and they've turned the lights on really behind them really bright. So I've got in this setup here, I have a light that shines on the wall and bounces back to give me a nice light, and it's a bit darker behind me. So in the living room last night, I bring my lights up, and Jan's like, what are you doing? So I gotta look good. These are video friends of ours. And they didn't do that with theirs. And so it was kind of funny because when we meet next time, they'll kind of fix it. But we had a great chuckle about that. And it's just something to laugh about. It doesn't really matter what it is. It's the joy of sharing an interesting moment where it's worth laughing, and it's just worth messing up a little bit so someone can kind of laugh at you. I fall down so much. I experiment so often that I screw up quite a bit, and I just figure that's part of my learning curve. And so I've learned to laugh myself an awful lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of it, especially as an entrepreneur, right? Yeah. It's all about the life lessons and the business lessons, for sure.
It is indeed. Cool. Well, we'll wrap it up. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. It's been wonderful. And thank you too, Maud. And I'll send everything out really soon.
Okay.
All soon. See you tomorrow, I guess, everyone.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye now.